Hi cakey people, welcome to another video. This one I'm going to show you how I decorated this beautiful ganache covered cake. I'm also going to show you how I use my Profroster to get this perfect smooth finish. So we've got a ganache plate underneath a baseboard which is 0.25 inches larger than the size of cakes. This one's 6.25 inches. And then we're putting a ring of ganache around the edge which matches the final colour of the cake, and then our filling in the centre. Obviously wearing gloves for this bit because we're handling the cake quite a bit. And then repeating the same for the third layer. I always split my cakes into three. Obviously it's personal choice if you want thinner layers. I do thinner layers if it's a Madeira cake, so that tends to be a slightly drier cake, but my cakes are quite moist. Okay, and then what we're doing here is we're popping on a layer of ganache which will firm up in the fridge and give us a nice solid cake to work with. It also seals in all those crumbs so we don't have any mess or anything that's going to show through on the final cake. We don't want anything to show through, any crumbs or anything, because we're not putting any fondant on. So we need it to be nice and perfect and smooth and no little crumb is showing through. So we'll pop this in the fridge for 5 minutes or so. It sets up really quickly and it gives you a really nice firm base to work from. So now we're just setting the height of the Profroster. This is a genuine Profroster, bought from them directly. And the ones that you get that aren't a proper Profroster, they're not as good. You need the real one. So we're putting another layer of ganache on. I personally like to build my ganache layers up. I don't like to just running the Profroster around the top there to see if we've got that edge in. We didn't quite get enough on the top, but that's fine. Obviously the ganache does set a little as you're working with it as well, so you sort of build up the layers as you go. I prefer that method. I find I get a much smoother finish. Some cake makers slap it all on and then sweep it off with the Profroster. For me, I don't find that the best way to work. Obviously, it's personal preference. So we're building up those layers with the angled spatula. This is a small 9-inch angled spatula, linked in the comments below for you. You can see running the Profroster around the edge, and then we can see where we've got any bits that need additional ganache, filling in the gaps. And you can see that top's not quite a perfect sharp edge as yet, but it will be in a minute. So we're just building up those layers again, running the Profroster around. We never adjust the height on the Profroster, it always stays the same once we set it in place, usually maybe 1/2 centimetre higher than the height of the cake. Okay, I love this because it means I always get perfectly level top as well. Some cake makers are excellent at getting a perfectly level cake. I've never been fantastic at getting the level right. I don't know what it is. I've used ganache plates for years and I'm really good at getting it nice and smooth, but honestly the Profroster just #levels it up. Sorry to be corny, but you can see how this is really coming together now and we're really getting that top edge nice and smooth and straight. And so obviously the Profroster doesn't quite get the top completely smooth. So what you need to do once you've done that is fill in the gap that it leaves behind. I'm just showing the slow flip there of how I take my ganache plate off the bottom. So I flip my cake over on another board and then we're just running the knife around, and then you can see we've still got that cake card in there, and then we're going to apply a little bit more ganache and pop the final board on. This is a rose gold board, they're linked in the comments for you. They look so pretty against this cake and this colour. And there we go, I'm just smooshing it over a bit, get it into the right place, and now we're applying some ribbon. Got to get the ribbon looking nice and pretty on there, and just covers any imperfections around the bottom. And then we've got one of these little balloons that we're popping in. That was blown up with a balloon pump, so no risk of contamination or anything there. And then I sourced this lovely topper from a local cake topper supplier. And then we are wrapping some silk flowers in some floral tape so that they can be inserted straight into the cake, nice and safely, using gloves again, obviously to make sure that we're not contaminating. And then we've got some macaroons on this one as well, so I'm just using little lolly sticks to secure those in place. This one was travelling quite a distance once it left me, so I wanted to make sure nothing could go anywhere. Obviously I do supply a little card with the cake that advises the client of any non-edibles on the cake, and any little supports and things like that. That's always really important to do. Okay, and then we're just sort of deciding where little bits are going to go, putting some more macarons on there. And those macarons have been splattered with a little bit of rose gold paint as well. putting some more flowers on there. These actually came in a bunch. I've linked them below for you, and I snipped them off with some snippers. Pushing them in, using all different sizes as well, so using some of the buds, some really open ones, some slightly open, getting a nice variation in there so that we've got a lovely pretty cake that we end up with. The rose gold tones are all slightly different because I don't know about anybody else, but I can't find anything that always matches completely. Everybody's interpretation of rose gold is completely different, so from brand to brand. And then we're inserting a little flower on the side there. And then the macaron, I just put a little bit of ganache on the back of it to secure that in place over the top of the little rosebud. And now we're using little rose gold balls. I made these myself, which I have put how to do in the comments for you. But basically I popped some pink balls into a little Ziploc bag, and I tossed a little bit of rejuvenator and some rose gold powder, and I just whizzed them around in the bag till they were done. And that's it. That's pretty much the cake done. I hope you enjoyed the video, and more will be coming on Sunday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It always helps a small channel like myself out. Thanks guys.